So gotta get this thing shared out. Can somebody put this thing in the group? I don't know that Spoon is. He just texted me, and I started the stream, and I didn't mean to start the stream. So y'all get a few minutes with me. I'm gonna share this into the group right quick. We've got a very interesting show today. We're gonna talk bandwidth. Going to talk about deal flow and how that looks. Going to talk about all the balls that we've dropped over the past couple of days that have kind of affected us in a negative way. I just was driving up here today and realized that we're taking back 2 properties tomorrow, and we haven't looked at either one of them in a long time. Hold on right quick. Damn, I can't type. So close all this down. What's up? Still no Spoon. I don't know what happened. But essentially, when I was driving up here to the office this morning, I had a kind of a aha moment that, one, this morning I was looking to see when Texas Tuesday was, because we do the R2R Cool Kids thing every Texas Tuesday where we go to an auction and buy a property. We've been going to Navarro County, so we're gonna go up there. This afternoon, we'll be evaluating all the properties that are going to be on the auction to see which one we actually want to buy. That's always fun. Always like getting those guys together. There's 5 or 6 people that always come out to different things. So we'll be doing that this evening. We'll be riding around, looking at properties, looking at them, talking about why they're on the tax sale, the title issues, all the different reasons why things end up on the tax sale, what your risk is when you're buying off the tax sale, and everything that goes into it from an evaluation point of view. The other thing we're going to do is tomorrow we'll be there actually bidding on stuff. And the last time we went to one, we skipped last month. The month before that, we were able to buy a $280,000 property for around $67,000. So really excited about some of the things that we do in that space. So we'll be doing that this afternoon. But we're taking back 2 owner finance deals. We're taking back one in Navarro County tomorrow. We're taking back one in Limestone County tomorrow. And I completely forgot about the one in Limestone County. So here's Spoon A. His mic is off. I don't have the ability to unmute his mic.
There we go. Sorry, I was taking some notes here. I've been thinking all weekend about notes for our I don't know what you call this podcast show. Shenanigans. Yeah, I mean some topics.
Hit me with some topics.
All right, first is deed restrictions. So, one of our team members locked up a deal yesterday. It's a weird thing. Go ahead.
Do you want to do deed restrictions, or you want to know about?
No, I want to know how long deed restrictions last. Do they last forever? Okay.
Forever.
So,
but hold on. Let me caveat that. This is just only what I've been told. I haven't actually researched it. A lot of times it'll spell it out, but somebody's in charge of enforcing the deed restrictions.
Yes,
it's an HOA.
It's a defunct HOA.
And if they disband, if there's nobody there to enforce them, then I would like to know what it is from a lender's perspective, because we sold a property. I mean, the baddest property we ever bought, $2,100, $80,000 lake lot on Lake Limestone. We sold it because it was deed restricted to be a community park. It's where the boat ramp was. It was set to be community park. So it had some weird things where you could do commercial stuff there, but you couldn't build a building larger than 900 square foot. Had all these goofy ass things that would basically box you into nothing. Right?
So basically a bait shop is the only thing you can put on that.
No, because you couldn't have any sewer.
Oh,
So it was a weird. The way they wrote it was basically to keep anything from ever being built there, ever. And I don't know why they didn't just say you can't build anything here ever. But that's what the way they wrote it. Well, um, there was 7 lots that were sold, and we sold our one. Another guy bought 3. Another guy bought 4. The other 4 are for sale right now. The guy that sold his 3, they built on those lots. Somebody, and I would always thought that would have had to been a cash, like I'm taking my own cash to build on it because a lender wouldn't loan to build because there's deed restrictions there. But they built on it. The guy that we sold ours to, his brother bought the one next to him. So they've got 2 lots there. They've put up a fence and they're starting to build. So I don't have the answer, but I think that there's a way to get around them. So what deed restriction is it?
Well, so here's the deal, man. We contracted a property this weekend. It's in an HOA that's not being enforced. Hadn't been enforced for years. But the specific tenants on this was everything was 10-acre lots. It was no more than 1 house per 10 acres. And during a foreclosure, they sequestered off the 1 acre that had a house and somehow captured it and then sold off the 9 acres to deal with the foreclosure. So somebody else bought this 9 or 10, it's like 9 and some change at auction for like 15 grand. And it was done in like 2015, somewhere in there. But I don't know, per the HOA regulations, you can't build a house back there because you have to have 10 acres. So I was fixing to go talk to this old feller and see if we could snatch up some acreage. But if it's not being enforced, you can build whatever you want, right? Like you can build till you get caught.
I don't know, because it's going to show up on the title run. It's going to show up. The title company that's going to loan you the money to build is going to see it, and they're going to want to know, and whatever that looks like. Because this was a long time ago when we did and our attorney said there was no getting out of those deed restrictions, none. But they're not being enforced. That was all he said. So I don't rightfully know or don't know. I just know that it's probably one of those things that it depends on the underwriter at the title company. We bought, our Willis Mobile Home Park, we bought it, refinanced it, went through all the process. It's got a bank loan on it right now. Went through 2 different title companies just in our buying and refi process, and now we're at a third, and they will not close it because it's got an alleyway that wasn't closed. They're waiting for a letter from the city's attorney to find out what's going on with the alleyway. Well, the alleyway's never been used. It's never been built. It's nothing. You know what I mean?
We've got a chunk of dirt.
Yeah, we've got an alleyway that runs through the middle of our Fort Worth Park, and you know what's next to the Fort Worth Park. That not the road, but on the other side.
Well, that alleyway runs into a fence on one side for another property, and it runs into our fence on another side.
Factory.
Right. It's a non-accessible alleyway. It's essentially landlocked.
It's got a factory built over the top of it on the next lot. I mean, so those things are, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's going to depend on the title company and the underwriter. But
I just smelled blood when I was looking at this yesterday. I was like, man, I need to go talk to this old boy that snatched up this acreage, because he probably thinks it's worth a lot. But if he can't build a house on it, maybe we can get a nice little package put together.
Maybe I'm not gonna discourage any of that. It's just people, if my crystal ball ever tells me why somebody buys something, that's all I'll be doing is just because a lot of people just buy 9.5 acres because they know they're not making any more land.
Right.
I see it I'm gonna see it tomorrow at the tax auction.
Sure.
There'll be people up there just buying shit. They ain't gonna do nothing with it. So.
Well, that's a different thing. So this got me thinking. This particular parcel isn't landlocked, but y'all bought landlocked land before, or other people have that and we've talked about this. There's going to be a bunch of landlocked land going up all over the state tomorrow. Maybe not a bunch. I don't know if it'll be 2 parcels or 100 parcels, but stuff is going to happen. There's going to be somebody that unwittingly buys it. There's going to be some people that buy some land that they plan for. If Texas is non-friendly, there's no way to force an easement back into place. Is that correct?
from my understanding, Shane's family has some land that's landlocked out at the lake, and basically his aunt owned the river bottom that the lake was flooded over the top of. And when they flooded the lake, there was no road access. They killed the road access to a 13-acre parcel and a 17-acre parcel on the east side of the lake. Okay. So this is a government entity that comes in and creates the barrier in between you being able to get to the land. And they have never, and this is, they've spent some money on it. You know what I mean? Trying to get access to this land because it's valuable land. 17 acres and 13 acres of waterfront property. It's good, valuable land. Hell, the 13-acre tract has 20 foot of water, 100 foot off the shore. You can't get that on Lake Limestone. Like the lake, the deepest point of the lake might be 40 foot. So anytime you can get into 20 foot of water, the distance that you'll build a pier, you got some valuable land. You know what I mean? Because now you got to build you a boat dock. You're not going to be affected by droughts. You'll still be able to get your boat down in the water and stuff. So that being said, they've never gotten access to it ever. And his grandmother just passed away, and they were trying to sort out what to do with it. And, when his grandmother passed away, of course, the people that had the land next to it, they want to reach out and buy it. Well, hell yeah, they want to reach out and buy it, But one parcel has I think it has a road going to it, like to the gate. And I want to say it's an implied easement if you've got a road going to the gate. But they subdivided that parcel up going into there and made it private. So I really believe if you buy one of those parcels that are in there, you've now got access to the land behind it. You know what I mean? So I think there's a way to get around it. If you know what you're doing. Me personally, I'm 35, so I'm like, fuck it. We're gonna outlive all these some bitches because it's like old people feud.
It's old money feud problem.
Yeah, it's like I didn't like Shane's aunt. Like,
right.
I'm from, you know what I mean? Like they're from the same generation. They didn't like each other. That's where the beef is. The beef isn't going to be, once those people pass on and their land goes wherever, like scoop in there and get it.
Well, you and I both know that their kids are going to sell that shit in 20 minutes anyways, because their kids have probably already moved to a big city.
Right. But the other thing is, like, you're looking at a $500,000 lake house blocking in one of them. It's actually it's probably more than that. It'd probably be $1 million sale. Probably be $1 million sale because it's $500,000 house and another $500,000 worth of land behind it. So you're looking at $1 million sale. But think about it like this: would you buy that land for $1 million to get access to 17 acres on the lake?
No,
you wouldn't.
Depends. I don't know the lake. I'm just saying I don't know.
The lots, one lot, 150 by 100 lots sells for $80,000.
Oh, well, there you go.
So you buy this one for $1 million, and then you get access to it all, and then you can subdivide the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like it's a long payday. Don't get me wrong. It's a long ass payday because once you flood the market with lots, obviously the price would have to come down, but there is a play there.
So it sounds like there's a play. I don't know Lake Limestone, but I encourage everybody that, everybody knows Logan Fulmer's who that's supposed to be. Logan Fulmer's the man when it comes to running down crazy ass deed restrictions that were put in place 100 years ago.
He found a road is what on his. He found it. He found it in the. He actually went and found it, himself, like.
Right, physically.
Well, he went down to the courthouse and pulled the records. It was like put in there in like the 30s or 40s, and everybody had missed it for all these years. So man, I got to get a notepad here beside the desk because this just keeps bringing up like little tangents that we could take. I encourage everybody. Like I had this talk with Jeremy this morning. We're talking about a neighborhood. He's like, "Oh, dude, that neighborhood look cool. There's a bunch of shit back there." I'm like, "Yeah, there's a bunch of meth back there too," because I know that neighborhood really well. I'm not saying meth is a problem. I said, look, what are you doing? It's not a crystal ball. Hold on. You don't need a crystal ball. All I was saying is just you need to know the neighborhood to make your offers accordingly. That's all I told him. I love that neighborhood. We shop in there. When's the last time you bought meth back there?
I haven't bought meth. I've never bought meth.
How do you know?
Oh, come on, bro. When you get, don't even get me started. Anyways, my point is, This isn't any place he's bought stuff. We're just talking about a neighborhood that we know. And I was just telling him, like, just know the neighborhood when you're making offers, because it's not the same as a neighborhood 2 doors down the river. Anyway.
Yeah,
it's correct.
I don't know. Like my real estate ball broke.
Well,
but I would look at the comps of what it sold in the area, and then I would look at how long it took them to sell, and then I would look at how it compares to what I'm actually trying to buy. And then I would probably even take it a step further if I hadn't gone out there yet and look at what actually sold from the outside and see what they did with it, because that's the direction the market's moving. Your old meth dealer that you used to go over there and pick up your dime bag from, he's probably locked up or dead by now.
No, this neighborhood's pretty rough. I drive through there pretty regular. That's the only reason I've got such good hair. Is my crazy meth habit of dime bags. I don't even know how you buy meth.
I'm not saying you bought meth, but unless you have bought meth, you can't go in there and say, "Oh, this guy's a meth dealer."
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying all I'm saying about that is you have to know the neighborhoods.
You do.
That's it. We bought in these neighborhoods.
Data.
I agree. I agree, and we just pulled comps in this neighborhood a few days ago. So
how'd it look?
It looked not very good.
Did it look methed up?
It did look methed up, but it is what it is. I predict, because I'm going to take a crystal ball, in 20 years, that's going to be a whole different scenario. Because we know that people are coming in and fixing up these rough ass neighborhoods.
I don't think they're fixing them up. I think affordable housing is becoming less affordable, and everybody's like, well, fuck it. I would rather have groceries and live with next to my meth head neighbor than not be able to afford groceries and pay this $2,000 a month rent in a neighborhood that's not worth it to me. You know what I mean? Like, I can pay $600 a month rent and live over here next to Crystal and eat real good, or I can, live in a neighborhood that's not that great. It doesn't have any big comparables. It's now $2,000 a month. That it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I can't make sense of it. I think that's what's happening. I think affordable housing is pushing people out of the Metroplex. And as it pushes people out of the Metroplex, it pushes them into a different area. And eventually they land in Weatherford, Texas. You know what I mean? Like, Weatherford,
dude, that's like the Mecca for affordable housing and great deals.
And when you end up in Weatherford, then the people that were it was affordable in Weatherford, they get pushed out to Eastland. You know what I mean?
And they're going to Ranger.
Yeah. You end up in Ranger, and now you're really questioning your life decisions on what got you to Ranger. You're like, what end up here? But there's opportunities in every step along the way.
Up at Lake Tawakoni.
Yes, look, I love Lake Tawakoni.
I do too. The lake's beautiful. The lake. I'm talking about the lake itself.
Yeah.
Everything 5 foot from the edge of the lake is questionable.
I mean, that lake's so old. There's been so many dead hookers dumped in that lake. I don't trust it no more. So
this is my next point about this, and this is where I was trying to go with this. It wasn't a crystal ball argument. It's know your neighborhood. Know your comps well. I'm going to bring my crystal ball up here, sitting on the counter down there, so I can rub it for you.
We got to get Doc on this morning. I think there's a cold front coming. You got distracted.
No, Jeremy was texting me. So, Lake Tawakoni is a great example. I went out there. I when I first got started, I was taking every lead I could, right? Like you taught me. Just go run the leads, make an offer. A guy calls me off some tax when I was doing my own tax RVMs when I took my 2-week hiatus that Corey will never stop talking about. He calls me. He's like, "Hey, I got a house out at Lake Tawakoni. You should go check it out." I'm like, "Dude, this sounds cool. Let's go look at it." And he's like, "Well, yeah, just go by and tell me what you think. I got a couple of lots over here too." And at the time, I would have known what to do with those lots. I had no idea at the time. He only wanted what the tax value was on them, and he was going to lose them at the auction. But I went out to look at this house, and on the way, I'm talking to this guy, and I'm like, "Hey, tell me about the house on Run Some Comps." He's like, "Well, the last time I checked, the house was all there." That should have been a sign. It should have been a big sign. So I get there, and I have a picture of it somewhere. I'll try to dig it up. all that was left were the four corners of the house. There was no walls. They just like somebody had snatched the walls out. There was a roof and four corners. And I called the dude and I'm like, bro, I can drive through this house. And he's like, no, it wasn't like that. I'm like, sir, it definitely was. And right across the street, there's a nice ass house. A block down, there's a house that didn't have a roof or a side on it anymore. They'd used a billboard vinyl to wrap the house to dry it in. This happens a lot in these lake communities in Texas, and it's the way that they sold the lots. There used to be these big development companies. They're probably still out there somewhere developing these lakes where they buy up all the land around a lake and then cut up lots and sell them off owner finance with zero deed restrictions, zero restrictions on what you can build. So all I'm saying about this is know where you're going to buy and drive the neighborhood.
Let me show you. I'll show you a little history lesson right here. So this is Lake Tawakoni. This right here.
Fruitvale.
Yeah, this is my grandma's house right there.
Nice.
That's my grandma's house. That's my aunt's house. That is my cousin's mobile home, the new one, because the Canton tornado, y'all remember the Canton tornado?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it came right here. Like this all here was woods, and it hit him, direct hit, and he landed out in this field. And they found his the like frame to his mobile home down here somewhere. So it took my grandma, took this house completely out. This is my grandma's house. Furman did that roof for her. You can see how all the trees don't have any limbs on them no more. There used to be trees and everything. Furman did that roof for her, and we went and fixed her house. Anyways, and then of course my aunt's house got a new roof too.
Oh, I like her pool too. That's nice.
Yeah, I mean looks like it needs a little something.
Yeah.
But this is like my uncle died in this house, my granddad died in this house, and my cousin was smoking a blunt when his trailer house got blown across the patch there. He like y'all think I'm funny? Him telling the story about that house, like when he saw the tornado coming, is pretty good. But that's how I know Lake Tawakoni, because we had you could buy, there was these neighborhoods over here where you could go in, and I don't know the lake well enough to know, but my other uncle, like you would buy, maybe this is it, maybe.
Look at all them empty lots right there.
Oh, I get it, but like, so you could come in here, and they would do like a neighborhood. I'm trying to find, because it's, I mean, you'll see them. They're very easy to see. They don't have piers because you can't build piers on it. But anyways, they would come in and they would sort this stuff out. I think this might be it right here. Anyways, you would sign a 100-year lease.
So it's like Graham Lake then. Graham did the same thing.
Yeah, like so you don't own the land. Like this was somebody that bought the land, or owned it, whatever, owned the whole peninsula. And he would instead of selling the land, he would sign a 100-year lease. And then you quit paying, and he would sign another 100-year lease with the next person and take a big down payment, like a $10,000 down payment, but you would never own the land, ever. You could do whatever with it. And they would put mobile homes on them. And I mean, you bringing up Lake Tawakoni actually got me to thinking. I'm like, that's a genius business model. Like that is an absolute genius business model.
It's crazy, man. You watch these land development companies do that. The Graham's the same way. Everything up there is owned by the city, though, now, instead of some development company.
And that's an RV park. I mean, I know it was like on this side of the lake.
But you see all them like U-shaped road that you just passed up. You know, this is typical. It doesn't matter if it's Cedar Creek Lake or Graham. I mean, you see this all over Texas. And it looks really good when you're looking at these lots online. And you're like, oh, shit, a $2,000 lake access lot? You should drive that neighborhood before you buy that lot.
Yeah, because what they did was, I mean, this lake's really old. I don't know when they built this lake, but it's really old. Really, really old. It has a rock dam. Like, they didn't even use concrete whenever they, keep the dam from eroding away. So this, you'll have these lake houses. I mean, and this is kind of every lake. You know, like, you'll have these older lake houses, which these might be older, these might be newer. I don't really know. But back behind it, you got like a whole shitload of trailer houses. whole shitload of trailer houses. Like everything's a trailer house to get into it. So you in those places when they were first like what the word is when they first envisioned this idea, they didn't anticipate what was going to happen 30 years down the road, or in this case probably 40 or 50 years, when these trailers were no longer worth a fuck. And you know, you come in, you put a trailer up for sale and it's next to the lake. Well, nobody buys it. What are you going to do? Lower the price so it sells. Well, what gets really affordable, like that, you know, crackhead that slipped and broke his back now can afford a trailer house out here. And, you know, he then parks every broke down car in the yard up there. And it's a cycle. It comes back around. Like, you know what I mean? Like then it gets really popular. That maybe that neighborhood gets really popular because, you know, more people are buying lake houses on the lake and they've got money. So they start buying up all the shitty trailers and bulldozing them and building houses. It's a cycle.
Well, we're seeing that around the lakes around North Texas right now that are close to the closest ones to the major MSA are everybody's going in and buying up lake lots that you could have bought, you know, or I'm saying, let me back that up. Waterfront lake lots, they're buying them up like hotcakes right now. You could have bought them 10 years ago for pennies because most of those lakes were dry because we had a drought.
Yeah, but that's also a cycle, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I love it. I love drought time on the lake. But this was what I want to talk about today. Something I want to talk about today was bandwidth, because we've got 2 deals that are going to the foreclosure auction tomorrow. Did you know that, Spoon? Did you know I had 2 deals going to foreclosure auction tomorrow?
Dude, I'm barely tracking what I'm doing because I'm a mess of a human. I had no idea y'all had that going on. Oh,
and neither did I until I was driving to the office this morning. This morning, whenever I put together the cool kids meetups for today and tomorrow, it occurred to me, I knew about Richland. You know what I mean? Like I knew we were taking Richland back, and I was like, oh man, maybe I see Bobby up there doing the auction on it. But it's also, if you don't call Bobby and be like, hey, are you getting Richland back tomorrow? You might not get Richland back tomorrow because we only have so much bandwidth right now. You're reading text messages or looking at porn.
No, it's definitely porn.
But whenever it comes to the deals that we're working on, like we've got Euless, Pecos, and 5 vacant mobile homes.
Yeah, plus a couple of houses. I mean, we got a lot to move. I talked to Whitley about that at 8 o'clock this morning.
Correct. We've got in just on one side of the business, just on the side of the business that you're working on every single day, we're getting these properties ready for rent. That's like debt servicing that we all know on the hotels that we don't want to stroke that check every month. What is that? Probably
30. It was the last one was $3,400.
So we're stroking a check for $3,400, but the one in Cleburne's $1,300 by itself.
And that didn't include
Pecos is accruing interest, so it's just accruing interest, which we'll have to make that payment here pretty soon.
That didn't accrue, or that didn't include the other Granbury one either.
So. Right, but the only one that's supporting its debt servicing is the Granbury one where the lady started paying rent, and so that's what you're working on. That's your main focus. But what falls to the wayside because we only have so much bandwidth is the RV park. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like we don't like what's going on with the RV park.
I have to get water samples today because they changed their hours on Saturday when I was doing water samples.
Correct. But that's what I'm saying. Like, so bandwidth, you can catch so many fallen knives by yourself before you need to be able to delegate some of those fallen knives to somebody else to help you out, which is why team is important. You know what I mean? And on the flip side of that, Fort Worth went under contract for sale. Malakoff's under contract for sale. So we've got
Athens going back on the market.
Athens needs to be listed. We need to call Courtney or Mauricio or whoever's going to list it and get it listed. Everything, like all of that, every single bit of it, it kind of comes back to it. So what I was thinking about this morning, I was driving in and Stuart, my dad's house, my one of the first deals we did with Stuart is one of the houses we're getting back, the house that my dad lived in. So it's sold twice owner finance. So we sold it owner finance to a lady. She sold it owner finance to another lady.
Yes, it's
this lady's wanted to sign a deed in lieu of foreclosure, but they couldn't because they had gotten some liens on the property, some judgment liens. So we're having to foreclose to wipe out those judgment liens. That goes on the auction tomorrow. Well, we've got to get it cleaned up and ready to get listed. At the same time, we contracted a trailer house in where Weatherford. We got another house in Weatherford. We've got the houses on 26 acres that we're closing on in Weatherford. We've got another $106,000 house in Weatherford. I mean, we're just tearing up the Weatherford market. But I mean, we put all 4 of those under contract.
That and Lake of the Ozarks. I love Lake of the Ozarks.
But what I'm saying, we're going to be sorting through title issues. One of the houses in Weatherford was sold on a contract for deed. Like, that's the information I got. You seem not know about it. The guy.
No, we have so many deals in Weatherford. I'm just trying to make sure I remember which one is
it's
which.
the $25,000 one.
Oh yeah, I got you. No, I know about that.
It was sold on a contract for deed. So we're going to have title issues that we're going to be sorting through on that. You know what I mean? Like it's
a contract for deed that was never transferred.
I don't know. It doesn't matter if you bought it on contract for deed and the paperwork wasn't done. So the underwriters are going to make you go back to the person that sold it on contract for deed and get them to sign off on it.
Right.
And they're not going to be alive. So then you have to chase down their heirs. They're not going to want to sign. So then you got to decide if you're going to sue to do it. Now that's if it's worst case scenario. Best case scenario is, oh no, all we do is file this, do that, and we're good. You know what I mean? If there's an underlying, there's so many different things that's going to go into that one deal that you're going to have somebody scrubbing on that title. Somebody's going to scrub that title. The $106,000 Weatherford deal, I don't have any idea if it's going to be a title issues or not. But
we still haven't got title back on it.
Well, no, but that's what, like, we would have enough information to know that it was tax delinquent. So there's a reason, you know what I mean? Might have been inherited at some point. You're going to end up probably having to do affidavit of heirships if it was inherited. But we don't have enough history on that to know what it's going to take. But if there's anything that shows up on that title, somebody's going to have to go to work on it. In the meantime, you're doing floors in one house, got an air conditioner in another. Did you get it done?
The air conditioner goes in this week.
Which one?
In the Cleburne one.
Cleburne's getting the air conditioner, but
all the other air conditioners, we got 6 properties ACs running last week.
That's the other part. I wasn't even talking about the Cleburne house AC. I was talking about the one that was missing half an air conditioner.
That's done.
So we got that one going. We got flooring going in, and how many of those?
One more has flooring.
All this bandwidth, that it's juggling, keeping it straight, trying to stay organized enough, and then remembering in the back that we got a house out in Athens just kind of dingling around, and an RV park that's cash flow negative that we need to uncash flow negative because when the previous owners moved out and quit paying rent, now the pain of that one is going to really start showing itself. You know what I mean? So we have got to come up with a strategy to get rid of it. Matter of fact, I'm going to put that on my list. Get Creamer on it. See how easy that was? Just going to delegate it out to Creamer. I'm going to get him to redo the ad on a couple of different websites and get it back out Owner Finance because I don't know if we followed up with all the people that are currently interested. You know what I mean? We have several people that were interested that I've got to go back through my notes and call back. But even that one right there, that deal right there is one that I can personally work on because I've got a ton of contacts to call back, but it's just got to make its way to this top of the deck.
We got to move that. We got trailers to move. They got to go.
The DOT hammered us because we're
there's an abandoned trailer out there.
And we got to call a guy and see if he'll haul it off for us. If not, we got to see if DJ's truck can pull a trailer.
Well, did Nick bring out that big tractor last week?
No, but
if not, we'll find a tractor. Tractor did it last time.
No, we're not going to put it back on our place.
I got you. when bandwidth is a problem, right? Like, and I'm new to this, so I've made a lot of mistakes on these 6 that we took in. I've flipped exactly one mobile home, and I didn't really flip it. I just freaked out the whole time. So there was no flipping going on. I bought it and sold it and freaked out the whole process.
There ain't nothing different from a mobile home.
I got you.
A floor and an air conditioner. Every house.
But just let me finish. I also, when I'm walking around using my crystal ball, like, it's probably $5,000 worth of work, or that's probably $1,000 worth work. I was wrong on a lot of that. And instead of actually doing the research it would have taken me, of course, you can only do it through experience, like going and figuring out what each one of those things is. I'm learning this on the fly, and it's taken way too long. We're in all of these mobile homes 4 weeks now, and we should have already had a tenant in them, which is why we had to stroke that check. So it's a lot of inexperience and not really vapor lock or hydro lock. It's just spinning my wheels because I didn't know where to go. The good news is this is a lot of really good experience in a really short time, and all of these will be rented out this month.
Now, we talked over the weekend, and you were like, "Oh, we didn't get the equity pool right," and I'm like, "We're maxed out on the equity pool."
No, you're right. You're right. Like, I didn't buy them right.
And so,
bottom line.
Well, yeah, and I was like, this ain't the first time or the last time, but I know you well enough. I talked with that seller. And is it a challenge to negotiate against that seller? Absolutely. She's got experience. She's got a lot of experience with mobile homes. Lots. She was tired. She was going to sell those to us when I was on the phone with her on an interest-free owner finance note, which would have covered a lot of these mistakes. When y'all went and negotiated with her, something had changed in between those two times, and she was stuck on a price. Stuck, right? Y'all couldn't negotiate her any lower.
Dude, I did everything I could on negotiating.
You didn't take it to zero.
Well, you mean just offer zero?
No, you didn't take it to zero. You didn't take the money off the table.
Oh, I get you. I think. Are you saying you know what? I'll only do this if we owner finance it?
No, like, you want X number of dollars for these houses. I'm cool with it. Interest-free loan. Here we go. Let's do it. No, I want cash. This is my cash offer.
Yeah, I get you. I had no idea.
No, I won't sell it for that. Okay, cool. Let me know if anything changes. And you took it to zero and you walk away. You walk out the door and you make her call you back the next day. There's only one reason why you don't do that, and that's because you're desperate. If you won't do that, it's either one or two things. You're making an offer to benefit the seller more than you, which is what happened. The seller is benefiting more from that offer because we're going to be into these houses for more than what we want to be into them. We get them sold. We make a little bit of money. You know what I mean? If we get them sold. If not, we own a bunch of rentals, right?
Right.
That we're going to have to manage. And then all the deferred maintenance that is somewhat being taken out now because we're getting air conditioning, but we're going to inherit all those problems that she was wanting away from. And we didn't capture enough equity to take out all those deferred maintenance items.
Right.
Put in subflooring, put in new air conditioner, put on a new roof, fix the windows, find the meth pipes and get them out. You know what I mean? We didn't make our offer. We made an offer that benefited her, which is great. It feels good to do it. What'd you tell her? Because she's going to sell us more property. So what'd you tell her on the next ones?
I told her, I said, I told her we found problems and this is going to have to be a different kind of offer on these.
Was she okay with that?
I guess we'll find out. She didn't seem like she was upset about it. She's throwing some more at us from a loved one. So
what happens when you're in this situation? There's too many people, too much noise in the marketplace talking about how you're going to help out. And I'm here, and I want to be clear. I wasn't trying to help this lady. I went in and made all the offers on these at 2%. That's how I underwrote them. So I underwrote them wrong. I should have done 2% minus all the repairs. I didn't do that. Yeah. Wow.
Because I'm an idiot. I wasn't trying to help this lady. Like, I didn't know her from Adam. Like, I met her that day.
Well, she's like 70. So you know, everybody. I mean,
she's a really nice lady, but I mean, that was a business deal. I did not do a good job underwriting the cost of it.
Well, here's how you underwrite it. From now on, this is dummy-proof underwriting. Ma'am, how much do you want? I don't know. I was really hoping you'd make an offer. I don't have an offer. If I'm going to buy it, I would prefer, to buy it for 20 grand, both of them. Oh no, there's no way I could do that. What do you want? I want 70. Okay, I'll do 35.
Right.
And set the expectation from the beginning that the offer is going to be down here, because these are trailer houses.
Right.
Trailer houses on land in a methed up community, and with a pile of deferred maintenance and half an air conditioner and subflooring gone and all this. She knows that. That's why she wanted to sell it. You know what I mean? She understands what the roads are about to go down more than you do. Because
absolutely.
She's a tired landlord. She's been a landlord for 25 years. You don't think she knows what she's getting away from? So those things, and that for me has been the greatest lesson of my life. I would rather make 100 shitty offers that get accepted than one. And I was even thinking about this on my own stuff out in Navarro County. I'm doing that deal and looking at it, cleaning it up, listening to Courtney in the back of my head, and realizing that we've got a badass horse place. It's got 2 broke windows, 1 air conditioner don't work. The 1 air conditioner is missing. We'll clean up all the trash. We got the trash cleaned up. It does have a pipe fence, does have a 6-stall horse barn. It's got all this stuff, right? But it ain't got a pond. It's 26 acres of land, and there's no water on it.
How much that excavator of yours weigh?
I don't know, but that ain't the point. The other point is it's sand on the surface, but there's cracks this wide, all like.
So there's clay there too.
Even if I could try to build a pond, I don't think somebody's going to hold water. You know what I mean? Like, I would have to haul in something to seal that bottom. Which brings me to a great point. Let's see if we can get Doc Robinson.
They get that like gypsum stuff that you can pump into the soil.
Yeah, but they ain't none of that shit cheap. Ain't none of that shit cheap.
So, go ahead, man.
That was something that I was ultimately thinking about.
So, are you gonna do the ACs? You just gonna sell it as is?
What do you mean? They're window units.
Oh, I got you.
No, I'm selling it as is. Look, my worst case scenario is I got to draw a line down it somewhere and sell them out. Owner finance, or you know what I mean? Like I don't want to sell. I want to sell 26 acres all at once, but I'll sell 13 acres at a time. 13 acres is big enough that it doesn't require
a survey
replatting. Like if it's bigger than 10 acres, you can get away with it. So I'm gonna send Doc a link right quick. We need to get him in every time, but this is a great time to have Doc in if he's available. He'll see the link. He's seen it, and maybe he'll join the show and get us straight on what it would take to seal off this pond. But the point I was trying to make at the beginning of all of this, was, at first you were like, oh, it's the equity pool. I'm like, no, it's not the equity pool. It's the offer. And then my hip shot offer. My hip shot offer is so cut so low that it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It is a actual cut. So Doc's on the stream. He ain't got good service. We'll let him back in once his beautiful face pops up on the bottom deal. So what else we got going on, like bandwidth wise? What are you looking at? Last week we had a empty pipeline. Our pipeline was completely empty. This week, with the Corsicana deal taking 150 off the table, we contracted $90,000 worth of properties over the weekend.
Yep.
106 last week. So we went from
350.
Do what?
That's 350.
Yeah, we got $350,000 worth of commitments.
And we got more coming in this week.
Who? What else we got?
Oh, I'm gonna tap the seller that you were you were talking about in your post this morning.
In the Cool Kids group?
Mm-hmm.
You think you'll do a loan for us?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, not the seller. Yeah, I don't know. They've kind of ghosted me. We're going to find out. I have no problem making that call. But the other one is, or I meant the seller. The seller that sold us these other properties we've been talking about. We should have some more in. Yes, we should have some more in. Yeah, we should have some more inbound.
Right. So I mean, we're buying $350,000 worth of property, and we're closing on one today. We've got the 106. We haven't got a title commitment back on it. The 25 is going to have title issues, so it's going to probably be next month. And the 65K is, I don't know enough about it. I mean, it's going to be a decent deal, but I don't know.
I'll tell you what. I drove up that road yesterday. It's the exact same as the Acton deal. I drove up that road yesterday. There's nothing but $500,000 houses, $300,000 houses down that road.
And how many acres is it on?
It's one.
1 acre. Okay.
So it's a weird oddity in this neighborhood, but it is surrounded by really nice houses. The mayor of that town lives on that road. Really? Yeah.
Does he smoke meth?
I don't know, but it's a very nice neighborhood.
Well, so 350 committed, and then we've got 40 coming back. 40K coming back. I don't even know who did the loan on Malakoff. Do you?
Yeah, well, we just changed. No, on Malakoff, that was Sherry. Sorry.
Oh, wow. All right. So we're getting back 75K.
And we have two closing 2 weeks from now.
Do what?
Malakoff and Fort Worth both closing in 2 weeks.
No, I know, but we're only getting back 75K from those two, and we've got 350 going out just on commitments right now. We close on our Axtell deal. That DJ's deal is 100K going out. So I mean that's another. We're at 450 going out. And we basically all we did was spend all our money. Like I mean I don't know that we're tapped on deals, but we've got to sell some stuff to be able to actually be able to buy it because we're sitting at 450 going out. We closed on our little rental here in Groesbeck last week. Jacob, we did get closed on Trinity, didn't we?
Haven't funded yet. Like he has money in title.
They hadn't funded yet.
I talked to Friday.
Okay, well, it hadn't funded yet. So I've got to get with Furman, and that's more talk about bandwidth. I've got to get with Furman, start the rehab on. Third guy can't get in. Anyways, here he is. Doc,
what up?
You can't hear us, old son.
What?
You can't hear us.
I can hear.
Oh, hey.
You
We bought a place that's all sand on the top, and it's got cracks like this in the soil. I want to build a pond.
Okay.
Is it going to hold water? Probably not.
Well, I mean, that's
No.
anything out there.
Do what?
Have you test dug anything out there? I'm not worried about what's on top. I'm worried about what's in there deep. Pond's gonna be 11
No,
foot
I
deep.
haven't.
I don't give a fuck about the foot.
No, I haven't dug it. But it looks like there's an old pond there, and they broke the dam on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, best thing I can tell you is let's go explore it with the excavator, see what kind of dirt you got, and then I can really tell you if it's gonna hold water or not.
I think I bought it too high to do that. That's why I'm concerned. But if you got free time, you know what I mean? I might be out there with my farm tractor dragging around sand trying to patch up a hole in a dam.
Well, you got a Mini X out there right now, don't you?
I do have a Mini X, but I don't like.
Yeah, use the Mini X.
I'm not
Dig down.
concerned. Well, I'm not concerned about it that much. I want my end buyer to be able to build them a pond if they want it because it's a nice horse place.
Yeah,
We
I bet you. I mean, I'm not worried about what the hell here. We get clay when it expands. It gets that big of cracks up here. So I'm not really worried about what's on top. I'm worried about what's down in the deeper. Soil changes as you dig.
It's true. That's true. What's the weather look like in the next coming weeks? I heard we got a cold front coming.
Yeah, it looks like it's not going to be as hot this week. But then again, it's 9 o'clock. It's already 88 degrees up here. So I'm on the Oklahoma border.
What you dragging behind you?
Oh, my trailer. I'm moving skid steer over to another job.
What you working on
Building
there?
a retaining wall. Oh, we're going to be doing a retaining wall. Boulder retaining wall. Basically, big old pallet weighs pounds of rock on there. And we stack the rock up. Kind of looks like an old Irish wall when we're done. Looks pretty sweet.
Dang.
It's a lot better. It's a lot better than the cross tie walls or the key lock walls.
It looks
Key locks
better.
don't last long.
Bet
Oh,
you
it
it makes
looks
your
way
wallet
better.
bad, though. Bet it makes your wallet look like shit, though.
Yeah.
Doc's like, yeah, it's going to cost you something. They ain't free.
Yeah.
Well, Doc's still
Yep.
paying off that engine he had to buy on that skid loader.
No, that's still in the lawsuit, and I got too much proof to pay for that damn thing.
Dude, that's crazy. That's a show in and of itself, all on its own. So, Doc, where can people
Yeah.
find you if they want you to do some dirt work for them?
You can call me 903-651-3233. I mean, I look at that a lot more than I look at Facebook Messenger, but you can find me on Facebook too at Dirt Guy Excavation LLC. Basically, every social media is Dirt Guy Excavation LLC. Hell, even my Snapchat's Dirt Guy.
Damn.
They
Can
probably
I-
don't take that the right way on Snapchat.
Can I get a
that,
butthole pic?
mean,
Not really.
do what?
Can I get a butthole pic if I add you on Snap?
That's on my personal one. You guys separate personal from business.
I'm gonna start sending Corey pictures of cat buttholes. Just
Dude. Well, I'm going to jump off of here, Doc.
The closest thing I've seen in a while.
I'm going to jump off of here. I'll see you. Appreciate you jumping on.
Alrighty.
Later. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, as far as bandwidth goes, back to what we were talking about, we're probably going to have to raise some money to get all this stuff closed on time. I mean, we know that we've got a lender in Paul Starnes that's going to be able to help us out. But it's moving those chips to where it's like, okay, we've got 75,000 coming back.
we have another hard money person we can tap now too.
No, I know that, but all I'm saying is like to make a decision. But like, if you want to know what goes into the decision making, two of these lenders don't require payments, right? The 75,000 coming back doesn't require payments, so you get that onto you try to find another 20 because we've got 65 and 25, so we need 90. Maybe we try to get that to 100 between those two lenders, and move them over to those, get them committed to those. That way, we're not having to service debts. We're not in the same issue that we're having right now, which is where we're having to stroke a $30 check on those. Our luck, those will sell really fast. Those won't be the ones that'll take forever to sell. But that little $25,000 one, it might be on the market for a little bit. We might end up having to rent it to get it to sell, just to prove that thing will rent for $1,000 a month. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the other ones, the 106, I feel location wise, which I don't even know where it is, but anytime you get into a certain area, things like that typically go pretty fast.
So the plan, that thing probably as is, ARV's 165.
That is ARV.
Yeah, so we were thinking about marking it at like 145 and just running it.
Those numbers don't work, Spoon. Is it going to sell for 165 as is, or is it 165 ARV?
Oh, I mean 165 as is.
Okay.
So I'm mixing up ARV and as is, but as is, it looks like 165 is the number.
Okay. All right.
So,
So if I do 106 divided by 145, it's a 73% deal. So that'll work.
That was the plan, just see if we could elicit some real quick offers and get that thing moved.
What we need to do on this one is put more time in between
Yes.
the list and the showing. So there's more anticipation coming up to it, more people there. It needs to be on a weekend. It doesn't need to be on a weekday. So more people can show up. It needs to be on a Saturday, honestly. I mean,
I agree.
got to have that set up and ready to go. What else?
That's it. I got to get all these things rented, man. That's all I'm trying to focus on is getting stuff rented. So I coordinated with Whitley earlier. I'm fixing to start dropping stuff in all the buy sell trade groups with the updated info and pointing them back to GBT and my phone number. So see if we can double head those things.
Now, this is something that for me, I got Greg Harris calling me right now. This is something for me that I've been looking at, like hardcore. Where do we get these leads from? The 106, the 25, and the 65. The 3 deals. Last week we had an empty pipeline. This week we have 1 contracted, 25 contracted, and 65 contracted. Where did those come from, Spoon?
Facebook and mail.
Which letter on the mail was it that the 106 came from? Because we send 5 mailers to every one person. So
I don't know which one it was. I don't know which one in the drop it was.
Number 3, Spoon. That's number 3.
Well, you don't know if well, maybe. We don't know if it was she put the first one in the drawer.
Throw it away. Throw that. Take your crystal ball and throw it away.
Well, I'm just saying.
Hold on. We bought 3 rounds of mailers.
Yep.
I don't give a shit about your crystal ball prediction that she could have called off the first mailer 3 weeks late. We've paid for 3 rounds of mailers. There's somebody out there watching this right now that thinks that one mailer is going to get it done.
Oh, I get you.
That isn't going to pay for the second round of mailers. That isn't going to pay for the third round of mailers. That isn't going to pay for the 4th round of mailers, the 5th round of mailers. On this 5 rounds of mailers, we've only gotten this 106 deal, right? I think there's another couple of listings. What else do we get?
Oh, I take that back. The other one that the forward deal was a referral. So this is the first one that's closed off the round of mail. But this will cover the cost of all the mail we've sent so far.
I get that. What about listings? Any listings?
I don't think we got any listings out of it.
I thought we had, but we'll have to check.
Yeah, we can get an update.
Jeremy's comment right here. Jeremy's the data guy. He'll keep us in place. All right. Now the other 2, what did the other 2 cost us marketing wise?
0 time.
$0 cost us time. Now this is something that we did in a meeting, and me and Spoon talk about it because there's a difference. There's this huge disconnect between the success of, say, Corey Thompson and the success of, like, at the time whenever
Jason Witherspoon.
No. When you came in, you weren't having any success.
Right.
But you were looking across the fence and going, man, this guy Corey's having a little bit of success. But you didn't know what went into it, right? You didn't know what the magic sauce was, right?
Right. And the answer is there's no magic sauce. It was just work.
There is magic sauce. You're missing a little sprinkling of the magic sauce. What's the magic sauce?
Work.
What's the magic sauce? I can work. I can go work harder in 3 hours right now than most anybody. But after that, I'm fucked.
I don't know where this is going, because usually when a dude asks me what the magic sauce is, I don't want to know the answer.
Consistency.
Okay, fair. Yeah, that's fair.
Consistency. So when we're doing our own, what's a KPI? What's a
key performance indicator?
We're doing our own key performance indicator, which we don't track very well.
Yeah.
No, we don't. It don't matter. Here we have a meeting and everybody comes down to the office and everybody's mad at me because they had to drive down to the office. A couple people even skipped the meeting. And I told everybody, I was like, listen to me right now. If I had $1 million waiting for you in this office right now, I don't care how many hours notice you had, you would get there as soon as possible. And still people miss the meeting. I ain't worried about it. I ain't bitching.
I don't know. I don't remember who missed.
Well, people missed. Just know that. People missed the meeting, but we're in that meeting and we set a mandate for like grown men with families. We put in a bare minimum, right? At like, this is what you got to do. This is how long you got to drive for dollars every week. This is how many offers you got to make every day. These are the steps. Like,
right.
This is it. You want that Corey Thompson magic sauce. Here's what Corey Thompson did when Corey Thompson was doing. And if you do this, it should work, right?
Yep.
But as we got separated from that meeting, more separation from it, people still weren't having success.
Right. And the answer to that is consistency over time. They weren't being consistent once they got back on it. Stuff started happening.
Everybody's life's just a little bit different, so it's a little bit harder for each of us to be consistent. It's a lot easier for a guy with one kid who can wipe her own ass to be more consistent at work than a man with twins that need him to change diapers and do that. Because you've got, no matter how we slice that up, you've got X number of hours in a day you're going to spend changing a diaper, helping a kid, like feeding a kid and all that. And my kid literally, like, I sent her to the store for cigarettes the other day.
Oh, she picked me up some snuff while she was there.
Yeah, she'll come back. She makes it back. She's surprisingly resilient. It's a lot easier, and I recognize that in all of our different dynamics, which is why we set the metric that we set. But the greatest thing about all of it is when they went to Facebook, when both of these two team members went to Facebook, a little bit of consistency, and boom, 2 deals locked up.
Well, and it's funny. I sent you that text yesterday, a screenshot of 2 people that we both know doing the exact same thing in a group back to back. And they wouldn't be doing it if they weren't having the same kind of luck. Right. That wasn't a one-off, because I know one of those person is a savage in those groups.
Right. And but that's that, like, that was is there a big secret? No, there's not a big secret. Like, I literally put a video on my YouTube of what I do every single day, how I make offers, how I evaluate the offers. There's 100 videos, not 100 because I don't even have 100 on YouTube, but there's 100 videos, it seems, in the group of me doing this exact same thing. The difference between, say, me and somebody else is I did it every day. Like, I did it every day regardless if it had results. I'm sliding in DMs like 20-something Corey was sliding in girls' DMs. Like, that's how committed to the process I am. As soon as you get that committed to it, we've got more appointments set up. We've got a ton more appointments set up. Now, by coming and talking to the 4 people that are on our live stream, you know what I mean? We might be giving up the secret goat, but the difference is they ain't got that sauce.
Let me tell you something. If those 4 people are out in a place that's not as competitive as DFW or the Waco marketplace or Austin or San Antonio or Houston, they could murder some rural communities up in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
with this.
Well, and that comes to the next thing that makes this all possible, which is this, $350,000 in private capital that we get, that we take. I don't take it for granted, but I know that for the average person that's trying to wholesale something, that's probably not a good strategy. But if you're a buy and hold investor or a flipper and you've got access to capital and you're not doing this consistently, you're really missing the boat.
I have a cousin that lives in one of the 5 richest cities in Oklahoma. When you look at earned income as far as what people make, because it's an oil field town, right? He's always sending me pictures of houses, like owner finance properties and crazy shit that we would dream for. And I'm like, bro, you should go make an offer on that right now. You should go make an offer. And he does not have I'm tempted to drive my happy ass up there and offer on everything in that town. I didn't know it was one of the 5 richest cities until I saw the stats come out this week and realized that even though this just looks like every tiny little Groesbeck or tiny little Caddo, Oklahoma,
yep,
there is money coming out those people's ears on an average earned income rate because of the oil fields.
There's 2 things that are happening to me in Groesbeck right now. One, my competition's here. You know what I mean? Like, everybody thinks that Groesbeck is a small town mecca for REI investing and buy and hold rentals. They're coming in and they're buying and they're rehabbing. And I really love it. I love it for the city of Groesbeck. Like, I love it as a community that those products are being made available. The next thing that's happening is it's showing people what's possible across their own Groesbeck. You know what I mean? Like, everybody knows that Groesbeck, Cleburne used to be Groesbeck years ago. Cleburne's got Starbucks and stuff now, so that's not comparable. But at a point in time, Cleburne was Groesbeck.
We got 2 Dairy Queens too.
That's it. Like, I mean, that our Dairy Queen shut down because the guy that owned it, all of his shut down because he went into bankruptcy. I think he was doing had a little funny money stuff going on. But the point I'm trying to make,
allegedly, you think?
You know, he owned all the ones in the Panhandles that shut down too. So if you're on 287 going to Colorado, you see all these shut down Dairy Queens. You might think those towns suck because they can't support a Dairy Queen, when really it was just one business owner that made a ton of bad decisions.
Man, that's such a good point. So I argued this with somebody, namely my mother, who's as hard as a woodpecker lives. My mom's tough. Taco Bueno shut down here in Cleveland. She's like, this crappy old town can't even support a Taco Bueno. And it usually has nothing to do with that. I'm like, there's a Panda Express across the street. It probably has nothing to do with the
actual metrics of that business.
Yeah. This has to do with the management of that business, whatever they're doing nationally. There's a lot of stuff going on, but it's really easy when you drive through these towns. Like Caddo is a favorite of mine. It's a tiny little town, had a general store and a Dairy Queen. I'm related to half that town. Dairy Queen closed down in town and finally reopened on the highway. But for years, you would have driven by there and saw that dead Dairy Queen and just thinking there is nothing going on here. But I promise you, there's enough money in that town that they don't feel recessions like the rest of the U.S. does. Because a lot of the economy is such a locally driven economy. It's insulated. It's a whole different thing.
And it's based on commodities. It's based on commodities. Like, it's a commodities-based economy. It's not you know what I mean? Like our economy here in Groesbeck is a commodities-based economy. When oil crashed out, obviously I got laid off, and a lot of my friends here got laid off. When oil's doing good, the city of Groesbeck's doing a lot better because we're a lot of roughnecks. You know, we all worked here when the natural gas boom came through. That's when we all got our start. But now a lot of guys are just working overseas or working out of town, but they still live here in Groesbeck. Cattle, corn, countless other soybeans, cotton, like anything that's doing that is what the people here, and it's mainly cattle. Now, the cattle market, everybody knows, I mean, it goes up and down, but who steps in and bails out the cattle market?
Government?
The taxpayers. So even on a bad year for cattle, Jacob's uncle, he'll be the first to tell you. He'll be like, he's 90 years old. 90. How old your uncle, Jacob? 95 years old. He comes up here in a brand new Ford, and he's like, yeah, I hope this drought don't let up. Now, this is a cattleman saying he hopes the drought don't let up. And we're like, why? And he goes, that government's going to write me a check. It's going to pay for this truck. Like, that's crazy. The most conservative guy in town is like, they're going to write me a check, and it's going to pay for this truck.
It's his Obama truck. I love it.
It's Obama truck. That's it. So it's one of those funny things.
Poor guy
in the business. But most people would come in and they would look at the town and they'd say, oh, man, Dairy Queen's out of business, or whatever. But the rentals do fabulous here because, do the people actually have the ability to buy a house? Does anybody want to buy a house? Because they know they might get laid off at work. You know what I mean? Get laid off at work with a mortgage sucks. Get laid off work with rent. Oh, well, sorry, man, I'm out.
Is there any big plants or anything like that around Groesbeck?
Yes, and they're all shutting down.
Really? Oh, so man. So I've owned. Go ahead.
We lost 200 jobs when the mine shut down, the coal mine. When you're watching the exterior, and those are 200 high-paying jobs. Those are $100,000 a year jobs.
Oh yeah, that's union jobs.
I don't think they were union, but it don't matter. They were good jobs, but it doesn't affect the rental market. All of those guys owned a house with 10 acres. You know what I mean? That's a house with 10 acres. That's not a rental house in town. You know what I mean? Does that guy go into town and eat as much anymore? Probably not. You know what I mean? Probably not, but he didn't anyways. You know what I mean? Like, it's a very, it seems like it's going to be such a big devastating blow whenever you see it in the newspaper, but then you never see it in the actual, you know what I mean? Like your rentals always do good. They just always do good.
The reason I was asking is because a lot of people don't, we got John Mansville here in Cleveland. We got over in Midlothian, we had what was Chaparral Steel and TXI. It's now like Gerdau or something like that. But when you live in these communities, everybody in my family, including me, has worked at Chaparral Steel. Everybody had a job there. If you didn't get out, that's where you wouldn't work. Or you go to John Mansfield, or you go to the lime plant on the west side of town. Like there are these localized things that are such drivers in local economies that it's either a devastating event when it goes out or it has zero influence. A lot of time, I mean, if Chaparral went out, it would hurt a lot of people just because there's thousands of jobs out there. But
well, and here the service small businesses feel it, like when the mine shuts down. The mine had everything vertically integrated.
Right.
I mean, they got very little from the outside. They weren't hiring you to come in there and run your dump truck inside their mine. You know what I mean? So the small businesses didn't feel it as much as when the oil field left. When the oil field left, when natural gas prices sank in 2008, I mean, this place went to little to nothing overnight, and a lot of the small oil field businesses left. They had to go to the Eagle Ford or West Texas or whatever. And they took their employees with them, but the employees didn't pack up and move from Groesbeck. They just work out there 7 days and they come back here for 7 days. You feel those things, but like Nucor Steel is probably one of those staple employers here locally that will probably never go anywhere. They keep expanding their Jewett plant. They're mentioned in the book From Good to Great, and why they picked a community like Jewett to expand and build in. Jewett is a great community from an employee standpoint because of Nucor Steel. But out here, I mean, we got the lake, a little bit of tourism, but man, if I'd had to bet how good the rental market was going to be here, I would have bet wrong every single time. Matter of fact, this community was the reason why I didn't want to own rentals, because I was like, oh no, they'll never do good here. Man, they do absolutely fabulous here.
So you want to go? Are we going to go to other states at some point and start looking?
No, I'm not. I mean, I see people that want to do it, but I think they just want to do it so they can talk about it on Facebook.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like I think as small time operators, which is what I feel like we are. I think when you're making money, whenever it works, it works. Just keep doing it. Don't get the shiny object syndrome and start trying to do what everybody else is doing. I would say that anybody that's watching this, that's trying to figure out what they need to do, don't be afraid of rentals for sure. Underwrite everything as a rental and an owner finance, and let the market decide is a great strategy no matter where you're at, because your worst case scenario is you have to own it as a rental or you have to own it as an owner finance, which is what the true passive income, which is bullshit, but it'll help build your wealth if you have that credit and ability. If not, you got to back up a lot of steps, get the credit, get your taxes right, learn how to keep books, and also at the same time take enough action where you can actually attract those people into your life that can help you with that, right? There's a reason why Jason Witherspoon gets to work with us and a lot of people don't get to work with us. It's because he'll do the work. You know what I mean? He'll go do the things that need to be done when they need to be done. There's a reason why I attract a guy like Jacob that is fabulous at bookkeeping, because it don't matter when it is or what needs to be done. He knows I'm going to go be in that mix.
Well, I mean, there's also the fact that we'd all be scared to death if Jacob left. Like, none of us knows how to do any of that magic he knows how to do.
Well, that's true, but what I'm saying is you have to attract that. You have to have something that's going to attract that. Your work ethic can attract that. If you are the guy that's good at books, then you got to take enough action and put yourself out there, as somebody that wants to be a credit partner, that wants to buy and hold rentals, that wants to do the back end work of title coordination and all of that sort of stuff that needs to go on. So you need that action taker. You need that person, not action taker is the wrong word. You need the boots on the ground. You need the person that wants to go look at problems, wants to do it. You see the one-man shows. You see, look at Jason McDougal. Look, just think about Jason McDougal right now. McDougal is somebody I met at a little conference that Scott Horn put on, right? McDougal, I think the other day on Facebook, he posted he's on rental 37 or 27. It don't matter. Whatever rental number on is what he's on, right? And he went from the time I met him, I think he was at 7 or 8 rentals, and now he's at 37. Do you think that guy is trying to compete with anybody?
Nope.
Not at all.
I think him and I can't remember his wife's name, but I think they're just trying to live their best life.
They are living their best life. They are head down, ass up, doing the marketing that works. They showed us how to the envelope stuffing machine. Hell, I think Jeremy Miller bought Jason's envelope stuffing machine. Jason McDougal was the first person to ever put that on Facebook.
Go ahead, man.
But he put a little short clip of him with his envelope stuffing machine on Facebook when he was doing direct mail. I don't even know what marketing he does now. I've never asked him, but he is in his lane, right? And he don't care about all these other lanes. He don't care about being the biggest or the coolest on Facebook. He ain't out there looking for, a stage to speak on or anything like that. Now, if you slid in Jason McDougal's DMs right now and asked him for help, would he help you?
Me? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he would definitely.
I literally, and so Jason's one of those few people. I think you respect Jason.
I do.
I respect Jason. There's probably 10 people in this industry right now that I could just jump in their inbox and ask, hey man, I need some advice right here. And there's other people that would answer me for whatever reason, but I wouldn't respect their opinion the way I do of Jason's. Does that make sense?
Why would you ask then?
I wouldn't ask. I'm just saying I wouldn't ask those people. There's like those go-to guys is all I'm saying that have this knowledge and are helpful.
I get that, but there's a lot of people that are pretending to be helpful and knowledgeable,
Dude,
just to sell you a affiliate link to something. You know what I mean?
That post that Dan Diaz dropped last night, this morning.
It's one of the good guys.
Oh my God, that post is so much fire about how to make offers. His video is the one that taught me how to make the zero down zero. I tell it to Kyle Garner. I don't go make the offers. I just saw the video and didn't do shit with it. Kyle Garner goes and does it. Corey calls me like, look, you lazy fucker. Kyle's doing this over here, and I'm mad at myself. I'm like, shit, I'm the one that showed him that video. I have had that toolkit for 1.5 years now because of Dan Diaz, and there's a bunch of people like him that are willing to give you that gold and just help people.
Hey, Dan's going to be at the Vegas Mastermind, by the way. So the thing, whenever we do that, whenever we're at that setting is, like, I'm there to learn from Dan. You know what I mean? Dan is going to be there to learn from everybody else in the group. But the people that are there that are come to support, they are going to get to see those conversations up close and personal and see those ideas at their fruition, whether it's a new marketing idea that we come up with together, whether it's a new offer, a new, hey man, did you think of doing it this way instead because you can do this on the backside, a new exit strategy. You know what I mean? And it's nothing new. It's just something that none of us knew about or didn't think of, you know what I mean? Because we're in our lane. That's the quality of being, at least in my opinion, of going to a mastermind versus just an event where at events you get around a lot of great people in the crowd. You get to hear some ideas from the stage, but you don't get to really chop it up like you do in an intimate setting that's really small. Dan is somebody for me that had an impact on me as soon as have I ever told you how I met Dan Diaz?
No.
We were both quoting Texas law on disclosures on whether or not you had to disclose a murder in a house or not.
Wow. And
the state statute does not say that you do. And me and Dan were arguing with real estate agents in one of the bigger wholesaling groups probably at the time. I think it was Wholesaling Houses Full Time, whatever it was. And that's how we met, because we were like, look, here's what Texas state statute says. Tell me, here's the disclosure that's in the state statute. Tell me where murder's on the disclosure. Just show it to me. And they'll always put up this HAR or TAR, whatever, the Houston, the big real estate, they'll always put that disclosure up. And I'm like, no. That's
one for you saying HAR, HAR?
Yes, or it's the largest real estate association in Texas. Not HAR might be it, but it's whatever. There's two different. It's not a Trek disclosure, but there's another disclosure. I'll never use it because I don't care.
I get you.
What are you thinking about? What are you distracted
No,
about?
I was looking up Dan's post while we're talking. And so there's TAR, I think, TAR and NAR as well. But NAR is the National Realtor one.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
One of the guys in the comments here asked me to link Dan's post. I was just trying to make sure and get it over there.
Put his name on there and then type his name in the comment section. And they can search him. I'll put it on the bottom of the screen. I can't spell his name, or I would do it because it's Dancito. I'll never know if it's an S or a C first until I'm on the @ and tag.
Well, that's what I was looking up. It's a C, but an S in the second name. So we'll get it up here. I was just trying to take care of your.
That in and of itself, I see a lot of people, and I'm not knocking their hustle, but I see a bunch of people getting more away from real estate and more into a personal brand. And there's nothing, I don't guess, wrong with that. You know what I mean? But if you're watching one of those people that are getting more into a personal brand and doing more personal branding than they're doing real estate, you've got to understand what your toolkit is. You've got to understand where you're at in the process. You know what I mean? You can't go do 100 deals until you can staff a full staff. You know what I mean? You got to have a bookkeeper. You got to have acquisition. You got to have disposition. You got to understand negotiations. You got several different chapters of the book to read before you get to 100 deals a month. Before you can do 100 deals a month, you got to do one deal. You know what I mean? Where's that one deal for us, Spoon? Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah. So a guy called me yesterday. I talked to you about it. He a very nice guy. I've talked to him plenty of times before. I like to help out the group members that reach out through Corey's stuff when I can, especially the people in the Cool Kids group. I try to fill in where I can if Corey's busy or something, if it's a simple answer. He reached out and asked me a JV on the deal, and I'm like, I don't want to do that, because he was like, I don't want to drive over 30 miles. This is an hour for me. And I'm like, well, that's 2 hours for me. I definitely don't want to do that work. Right. But I don't want to do that for half of a deal that I'm going to spend 3 months working, because there was some complexity in this deal. I've done that before for a couple $1,000s. And right now, what's much more important is us not paying a couple $1,000s on rent, on interest payments next month, is getting that stuff self-serving or servicing itself, because that affects us for months down the road, possibly, instead of a one-time chunk of, like $3,000 or something like that.
Well, plus it's not a deal.
No, it's definitely not a deal. Definitely not a deal. But I guess my point is, I don't know what my point was. Never mind.
The point is that somebody, this Facebook rant that I did, I drove in 8 hours from a mobile home park in South Texas, pulling a trailer. And it wore me out. Like, my truck was shaking because it wasn't running right. And I mean, it was just vibrating my whole
right.
week. And this guy had reached out to me and said, hey, I got a mobile home park lead in Katy, Texas. Do you think you could drive down there and look at it for me? Now, Katy's 3 hours. No, I don't even know if it was Katy. It was 4 hours from my house.
Yeah, Katy's at least 4 hours from Groesbeck.
And I drove in, and then so that was earlier in the day. Later that day, another dude had 30 acres in Jacksonville, Texas,
right,
which is another 3 hours from my house. And I'm coming off the road on an 8-hour trip, and my trailer and truck had shook me to death doing the work that I have to do every day. And these two fucking idiots are like, hey, will you go look at this for me? And my response to both of them was, have you looked at it yet? Have you looked at it yet? No, it's too far from me. Why in the fuck do you want me to go do the work that you're not willing to do? And then give you half of the deal because you brought a lead. Like I'm some sort of fucking simpleton that can't get my own lead. You know what I mean? Like 30 acres in Jacksonville, Texas, that you couldn't take down if you wanted to. You know what I mean? You don't have the money. You couldn't negotiate it. you can't do shit in this. I'm bringing everything, and you're too fucking lazy to even drive out there and look at it. Now, if the guy if he drove 4 hours to get there, and he's there, and he's got ideas, he's like, bro, we can bring out a logging truck. We'll log this sumbitch. The first hit's going to be $100,000 in pine we're going to sell.
Sure.
Then there's this oil field access road that comes through the middle. I know it's built up to county specs. All I'm going to do, I'm going to go down to the commissioner's court right now, and I'm going to talk to them, and I'm going to get them to approve that road as a private road, and we'll be able to go in and subdivide 1 acre lots. And 1 acre lots out here are selling for $30,000 a piece, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to sell all the lots. The only thing I need you to do is bring some credit and some money, and I want to cut you in on half of this. You think I'm going to do that deal?
Absolutely.
You damn right I'm going to do that deal. But hey, bro, you think it's too far for me? You think I'll go look at it? So I did a Facebook rant, and it melted the fucking internet for about a week. But it's because people are fucking lazy.
I must have missed that. Lazy. And
that's why they won't get a partner. If they were on location driving out there and looking at it, they'd have a lot better chance of getting a JV from Jason Witherspoon.
So the one I looked at last week, that guy actually went out to that property, middle of nowhere, Texas, over by Hubbard, just nowhere. Like there's nothing out there. Mm-hmm. I go look at the deal, immediately realize there's problems. Looking at the plat, Landglide is the best $9 you will spend a month. You combine that with Propelio, you can knock some information, like you can find some shit out about a property very quickly. I pulled it up. I'm standing there on the plot. I'm doing what are you, Cristobalin?
No, I'm playing. Go ahead. Tell me what's wrong with this.
I'm just saying, like, we know that this guy's advertising stuff that doesn't come on the plot. He's saying the people are selling this barn back here. It's not on the plot. It's not on the plot that's actually being sold. He's saying, oh, there's implied easements. There's not. There's no easements. I'm like, where's the paperwork on it? This stuff, I was like, where are the septic tanks? Where's the lines? All this stuff that somebody doesn't know.
It's that deal.
Yes. So
that deal you were about to lock up sight unseen before I was like, Jason, we hadn't even looked at it.
Yeah. No, good point. But my point is, well, and I'm still learning too, but we just learned all of these lessons. I just learned all these. Corey probably learned them 2 years ago. I just learned them on another deal we did, sitting 6 months in the commissioner's court. And I went to all of them meetings, right? Like I'm over there dealing with commissioner's court. They're making me pay $120 just to file to ask a question every time. And I'd be like, hey, what's the answer? No. Well, what other stuff I do? I don't know. You have to submit for a formal request again. Great. So I'm sitting here telling this wholesaler this. I'm like, look, bro, this is 3 months worth of work here. I'm willing to buy it from you for like $1,000. That's what we'll buy this from, but you got to answer these questions. Is there an easement? Is it on city water? What are these things? You have the contact, and I don't want to go snake that information. I don't like inserting myself trying to get information from somebody when they have the report. So snaking is not the right word, but you know what I'm saying, like wedging myself in there.
Yeah, no, get it.
And that deal, I think that deal disappeared because it just became too hard for that person to virtually try to figure that out.
And what he would learn for that, he would have got paid $1,000 to learn a $20,000 education.
I told him that. I was like, look, I'm gonna buy this from you. You've got to figure out these 3 questions for me, and I'm gonna help walk you through the rest of this, and you're gonna learn how to do this in this deal.
And turned it down.
He hadn't turned it down. I just haven't heard from him. I need to text him today.
He's just ghosting you like a girl on Tinder.
Maybe. But I'll text him today. We'll see what's up, and I'll give an update tomorrow. Nice enough guy. But a lot of these folks come out to the sticks and think they can do some shit, and they don't understand how much work it is.
But it ain't even that. It's like, it's $1,000. It's only $1,000. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my time. It's not, they 80-20 themselves. In 4 months, that motherfucker won't be in business.
$1,000 is a really good night at the strip club.
It's a really good night at the strip club, but it's $1,000 to get an education. Most people pay $1,000, pay $1,000.
Right.
Paid to learn what's going to get you through 5 more deals. That $1,000 is going to pay for itself over and over again. But this is the thing these motherfuckers don't get. Whenever they come with a JV with nothing but their dick in their hand, it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm showing up with a deal. Well, bro, I got deals. Like, I mean, I can make anything a deal because we got every exit strategy on the table, right? We're not deal poor. We're not deal poor. We're grand slam poor, right? We want grand slams. We're not bringing you in to JV on anything that isn't a grand slam. And it's got to be a grand slam. Like, I got to pull out my crystal ball, and I got to know that we're hitting it off the tee in the T-ball field, and that fucking all the fucking runners are the bases are juiced. We're ready to go. Like, we're getting it over the fence. Like, that's what we're willing to JV on.
And people
that requires them to do the work.
Well, they just don't understand that 5K lick that they're looking at, like, oh, I'm going to make 15 or 20 on an assignment that they're never going to make out in the middle of nowhere because they don't even understand what it will sell for. Like this very nice lady that I had call me on that house in Marshall. Oh, I need $80,000 for this guaranteed $150,000 sale. And I'm like, well, you can't guarantee that. 2, it's Marshall, Texas. There might be 5 people in that town that can buy that house. I don't know. And I told Marshall's a big city. I'm not knocking down Marshall. I'm just saying, I told this lady, I am not driving 4 hours for a deal unless you call and tell me there's a $100,000 house for $25,000. Because every problem with that house,
unless you drove there,
right? But every problem with that house, I have to drive 4 hours each way to deal with, right?
Maybe you can help. You can delegate that to her as her portion of the deal. But if you ain't there, if you ain't willing to go there, don't expect these motherfuckers here to go there. We got bandwidth issues that we just covered in the beginning part of this podcast. I ain't driving. Now, I'll drive anywhere for any of y'all. You know what I mean? But stranger danger off the street that ain't bringing nothing, no fresh ideas. No concept of why this $1,000 is a fucking steal. Like an absolute steal. Like if you learn how to get an implied easement into an easement, if you learn what a survey costs, right? An actual survey. If you learn how to go through the commissioner's court in Anderson County, right? Is that Anderson or Henderson? I don't even matter. Whatever fucking county it is out there. You learn how to make it through the commissioner's court out there. You've got a skill set that transcends the fucking average 2-bit wholesaler that gets clean title. You know what I mean? Like you are actually bringing value to the marketplace, and you can get some shit done. I mean, you know that because what have you been doing? You've been scrubbing title, affidavit of airships. You did all that for the $3,000. You got your affidavit of airship education for $3,000.
But it was a good. I mean, as much as I'd like to gripe about the deal, dude, homeboy paid, and I learned a ton of information.
You learned a ton of information. Not only that, how many affidavit of airships have you done since then?
A lot.
A lot. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But these guys, you know, they're not, and they don't get it. Like, you know what I mean? We've had good people on our team, great people on our team that just seem to disappear, and we don't have any way to prove it. We don't have any way to go out and know, but we think it's shiny object syndrome. You know what I mean? We think they see, you know what I mean, somebody talking on the internet and want to go do what they do, which is fine, but not realize the capital that they have behind them or the fluff that they have behind them. You know what I mean? Or, you know, there's so many different strategies that they might understand that you don't. And a lot of these people just, you know, they just use and abuse the new guy to you know, do all this work and then get mad when the new guy that's doing all the work for 10% of a deal, maybe flies the coop because he's like, well, fuck, I'm doing the affidavit of airships. I went and got the contract. I brought the deal, and all this dude did was help me dispose of it. And he made $30,000 and I made $5,000. I can go do this work on my own. Our pay structure set up a little bit different.
Well, and look at, so the Weatherford trailer pack that we had, the multi-pack that we had, the little package we sold, wonderful deal. I actually talked to that agent that bought it from us. She's looking at her other stuff. That lady, or those people that bought that from us, they got a great deal from us. We bought it for a good deal. That was a phone call. Somebody called me. He's like, hey, I've got a deal. This is the last one of those I did. Mm-hmm. Calls me. He's like, hey, I got a deal. I'll set it up if you want to split it with me. And I'm like, sure, sounds good. I didn't even think about it. Dumb me. Oh, it worked out. I made money. I made money on that deal. He made a really good lick for literally making a phone call and meeting me there to introduce us. Right. And that's not a bad work. Huh?
He done all the work.
He did. He did the bandit signs. Mm-hmm. He set up the appointment. He got stuff. He just didn't know how to negotiate that deal.
Right.
Other people that are calling don't bring that with them. Like this guy did all the work to get the leads. That was his money, marketing money. It was everything else.
No, they just got somebody over here wants to sell. Cool. Have you looked at it? No. The other thing within that, I think, what did Matt make on that? $8,000?
Yeah, made about 8,000. And it was like after we paid for that shed, I think he made like 7,500.
Okay, so there it is, $8,000 on that deal. We've restructured our pay since then, and we kind of keep it in house. But Matt also made another $3,000 assignment and a $10,000 assignment. Matt made a $10,000 assignment that we made $5,000 on.
That's correct.
So, but he brought a deal, a contract at a price that was agreeable, that we felt like we could make money. Not, hey, go look at this for me because it's too far away and I don't understand what's going on.
But
I want you to split this deal with me. It's like, you entitled piece of shit. Get the fuck out of my inbox. I don't even read them. I don't like I go to
I don't either.
I read them, and if it looks like something, then we do it. If they're, one the deal that we're doing in Canada came from somebody sending me a message on Facebook. We're going to pay them when that deal sells. But I didn't go in and agree to pay them anything on the front side because it's like, look, I don't even know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I do not have a clue if we're going to end up owner financing chunks of land in Corsicana or if it's going to sell on the market in 90 days. You know what I mean? Like, this deal in and of itself is a $4,500 commitment of holding costs from us.
Can I actually put out like a real graph of mine here?
Yeah.
If you dump in my inbox to send a deal to me or ask me about a deal, don't fucking ask for my email address. Just send me the information. Like, stop trying to build your buyers list. If you want help, just send the information. Like, it's so much. Oh, okay. Well, I need to get your email address and I'll send it over.
Leon's got a troll account on Facebook.
Nice.
Hey,
I don't know who Leon is.
Robin's a real account too, Leon. You don't know who Leon is? Yes, you do.
Oh, Leon Prue?
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
But dude, we got voted best voted best real estate group on Avi's post the other day. Of course,
nice.
it was like hey, tag a group that you like on here, and it was like Roughneck Real Estate R2R, Roughneck Real Estate R2R, like 5 people. And then a whole bunch of people plug in their own group. I didn't even plug Roughneck Real Estate because it had already been plugged like 5 times. So I was like, oh man, this is awesome. Thank you for all the support. But anyways, I enjoy helping people. I don't want to come off as an asshole because I enjoy helping people. But you got to help yourself first before I can help you. You know that. Like, I came to your house, ate sliders, delicious sliders that your wife cooked, and we did the bacon foreclosure.
Let me tell you something. So I'm going to break down Corey and Jason relationship here for a lot of people in the best way possible. If you expect Corey, I mean, he may give you an answer, but if he thinks that you didn't do any work and you're just calling for an answer, you're going to get a face full of pain associated with that. And it's for whatever reason, for the best reason possible, because he's trying to teach you to go do the work yourself or go get the answers yourself before you call and waste his time.
You got it this weekend.
Oh yeah. I get it like every other day, bro.
There's like no threshold where it ends. You know what I mean? It's like Jason calls, hey, what do we need to do with this floor in this house? I'm like, I don't know.
You get to work.
Like, I don't give 8 fucks. Like, just make a decision and do it and live with it. And that's the point, because there's too many people that will look at a deal. They'll look at it like our Euless deal, right? Our Euless deal was a grand slam. You look at that deal and you'll think, oh man, that's a grand slam. But then they'll ignore the marginal deals. You know what I mean? The deal that didn't close, Athens, that we were going to make $2,500 on
every time.
And it's like, okay, so now we've got an exit strategy for that if it ends up wrapped in Shane's portfolio, it's a great deal. It's actually a better deal in that format than being $2,500 for us. We probably just need to go ahead and pull that ripcord. But within that, when you look at one that they'll look at this deal that we're doing in Fort Worth, where we bought it for 35 and then, get a 2-week close for 65, and they'll say, oh man, y'all didn't earn that. Well, like, oh, we earned it. We earned the shit out of it. Cause we all, what other offers we got on that deal? Spoon, did you see the other offers?
I saw one at like 35. I haven't seen the others. I was trying to read his.
36, 52, and 65 is what the offers were on that deal. So you tell me if the wide range in opinions are 35 to 65. Okay, if a seller that wanted to sell for 35 got taken advantage of. And
No.
my answer is no every single time. It's like, look, the market's a market. We don't know why this guy that's buying it for 65 wants to buy it for 65. We gave that lady every option to list it before. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you'll probably get more for this if you list it. I don't care. I want cash now. The cash now price is $35,000, and that's it. You know what I mean? So if you're operating like that, it's like, man, you know, the market speaks true and fast. The RV park, they had a buyer lined up for $300,000. We didn't have any money. We offered $50,000. We're going to end up losing $5,000 or $10,000 on that deal.
Well, let's talk about that deal later. We'll talk about that deal offline, see what it would take to get us out, and talk about some exit strategy.
Man, we're just going to have to go out there this winter with the little Mini X and put in some sewer lines. I mean, as soon as we get some capable bandwidth, we're going to have to go add some RV spaces. Your dad has an electrical company, and that helps.
Yeah. Well,
And my uncle has a septic company, so that helps.
I learned a lot this week about septic from the environmental office that called me about our DOT problem.
That's true. We probably shouldn't put red flags in the ditch like a random mobile home. It's drawing attention. Hey, look at us. Look at us. We parked our mobile home in the ditch.
That's my bad. Whatever.
No, it's not. That guy told you he was going to get it out of there. Anyways, it don't matter.
I get it, man. I get it. That was my crackhead threshold. That was a great learning experience for me.
I've actually got, Arthur and them were out there working on our Corsicana deal all week. Nick probably run a crew for us, and we can install some pretty good spaces out there coming back up towards it if we wanted to with the guys that we have available to us right now.
I don't know who any of those guys are, but Nick could definitely do it. Nick can drive that excavator like nobody's business.
No, I know, but all we got to do is get 4-inch or 3-inch pipe in the ground.
Make sure it's sloped the right way.
Shit roll downhill. I mean, we're in the county. We're good, baby. So, anyways, what else you got, Spoonie?
That's it, man. I need to get to work just like you.
Oh man, I need to get to work. I need to go take a shower. I get up here and I need to start working out again. That's what I need to do. But anyways,
I'm going to warn you. I'm cutting caffeine over the next few days, so I may be a little bit of a bear.
Damn.
I drink a pot of coffee before lunch, and I don't think that's healthy. So we're going to pull that back some.
I like it. I mean, personally myself, I got my Bushi Starbucks cup.
I love it.
Mix it up in the morning, and I love it. But anyways, I'll see you, Spoon. We'll talk more offline about the money and all that, or pick it up in the morning. If you want to do it, I'll send you the password. You can get somebody else on. I've got to get to. I'm going to be at the auction tomorrow morning. So
that's what I was going to ask you. Were you going to go remote tomorrow?
No. I don't know how to remote from my phone because of all the issues we have. So we'll just have to see. We'll play it. We'll figure it out this afternoon. But we'll be at the auction in the morning. Anybody that's not in Roughneck Real Estate, the Cool Kids group, jump in there and come to the auction with us tomorrow.
Yeah, Friday. I may come down and see you in the morning. Not sure. I may come to one of the auctions.
Dude, the auction, it's fun. I mean, it looks like it's cloudy. Might be raining. An auction in the rain, you're going to guarantee to get a deal because you're going to be the only motherfucker that'll stand there in a rainy day.
Yeah. I will. I'll let you. We'll talk about that later. And I'll be out Friday, so you need to find somebody for Friday, or I can go remote. I got my new rig. We can try it out.
Oh man, I need a remote. Well, we'll figure it out. I appreciate your time, Spoon. We'll holler.
See you later. Bye.